Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. First and foremost, rest in peace, Nate Robinson. Wow. I know we're here. I'm here to talk about Tyson and Roy Jones Jr., which I will get to here in a second. But the Jake Paul, Nate Robinson fight, this whole card was violence. It was entertaining. The card worked. Whatever Triller was doing and all the whole Legends Only League, everything was a win tonight. The production was great. Having Izzy on the broadcast was great. The whole bit worked. But the Jake Paul Nate Robinson fight, the NBA community took a massive L tonight. That brother said he was fighting on behalf of the NBA community, his family. He put everything on the line tonight, and it shows you, as they astutely pointed out on the broadcast, led by Snoop Dogg, the most 2020 thing I've said. You cannot play boxing. You cannot play fighting. Fighting is a completely different animal. You can't just pick up a ball and learn a skill. It's combat. And that's what occurred tonight. And Jake Paul chose violence. And I was rooting for Nate Robinson. And I thought, hey, I thought the same thing. He's a former athlete, blah, blah, blah. No, sir. And the training, years of training, conditioning, all those things play into this sport. And that was a recurring theme throughout the night, because even when you look at the fight with Badu Jack and the military gentleman he fought who had lesser experience, Blake McKernan, and Badu Jack, who's a former champion, just completely destroyed the man. The guy had a hematoma above his left eye. It was a very, very nasty situation. He comes away with the W. And then we get to the main event, Tyson versus Roy Jones, 54-year-old versus 51-year-old. And Mike Tyson looked good. He really, really did. He looked good. He was sharp. He was conditioned. I know his body looked like melted leather. That's not the point. The point is the brother still had the power. You could still hear the gloves snapping. Roy, on the other hand, probably ate a little bit too much on Thanksgiving. I'm not sure what the situation was with Roy. The brother was breathing out of his mouth. Please disregard the scorecards and the draw. That's just boxing, whatever. Disregard that. Everybody that has eyeballs saw that Mike Tyson won this fight. Anyone that saw the post-fight press conference knows that Mike Tyson won this fight. Roy Jones couldn't breathe. Roy Jones couldn't breathe after the second round. He was literally breathing out of his mouth. And not only that, but was involved to survive the fight, decided to grab and hold and get into the clinch, where Mike Tyson was still landing body shots and putting in work. So I was actually really, really impressed with Mike. Mike post-fight looked great. You can tell he took it seriously. You could also tell that Mike probably eased up a little bit, where he could have ended the fight because of his relationship with Roy, out of respect. If this was somebody else that he either wasn't familiar with or didn't respect as much as Roy, that probably would have been, the fight would have been a wrap. So overall, this night was successful, and it was a win for combat sports, for boxing. The commentary, Snoop Dogg, Israel Adesanya, Sugar Ray Leonard. It was a good night. It was a good night. I enjoyed myself. I had a lot of fun in various group chats on Twitter, on social media, tweeting about the fight. I just hope, for Nate Robinson's sake, that the brother can find peace and unfortunately, he was the guy that had to be the example. He's the guy that people are going to look at and say, oh, you know what? Boxing is something else. As Izzy astutely pointed out, there's levels to this. And you can't just, think you can throw hands with somebody in the neighborhood and jump into a ring and do this professionally. No, sir. Not when you're hitting the bag, not when you're hitting gloves and protecting yourself and all that. That's not the move. So, fun night. Appreciate y'all. I just wanted to make a little quick reaction. I'm out. Peace.